Perhaps no skill is more important for the long-term success of students than developing proper study skills. While no two students are the same, there are some techniques that are prevalent out there that will help most students. So today we're going to discuss some of those techniques as well as things that you can do to help your student develop the proper study skills. Before we jump into it, make sure to like and comment on this video. We'd love to hear from you. Also, subscribe to our channel and press that bell icon to be notified when we publish new content. Also, you can check out this video here where we talk about the importance of students asking questions in class. As I mentioned before, learning to study is one of the most important things to build a successful student. While not all students are the same, there are some prevalent techniques which can help most students, and we're going to cover those in today's video. As I said earlier, no skill is more important than learning how to study for students to be successful at school. When students are younger, teachers tend to teach all the content that's going to be required for the student in the classroom, kind of spoon feeding it to them. But as students get older, the content is going to get more complex, and students are going to be required to study more at home. Learning how to do that is critical for student success. And today we're going to cover some of the common techniques that students should learn to be successful in their study skills. The first tip to establishing good study skills for students is learning content before class. With this topic, the student's going to review what they're going to cover in class before they go to class. It's like preparing the brain in advance for the content, and it really does a good job to shorten overall study time and help students retain material more. Nowadays, there's a concept called the flipped classroom, which is really trying to codify this content before class concept. In the flipped classrooms, students are required to watch videos or learn, do readings before class so that when they get to class, it can be more focused on questions for the teacher and solving problems. Now, this concept can be frustrating sometimes because if students don't do the pre-work, it actually ends up being worse for the student than a regular classroom environment. Also, I learned recently that this method has been used at West Point for over 100 years. It's been called the Thayer method there. So content before class can go a long way to help students retain and shorten their overall study time. A second tip that can help with your study skills is to focus on proper diet, sleep, and exercise. Learning is like exercise for the brain, but if you prepare the rest of your body to be healthy, it's going to help your brain do its job when it gets to the classroom or back in your study time at home. Being tired and lackadaisical doesn't do a lot to help you when you're in the classroom. In fact, you're going to retain much less content if your body isn't ready for the learning. It gives you better focus and energy for the things that you need to study and learn. A third thing that I'll mention is if you focus on doing short, intense bursts of study, it's really going to help, again, shorten that study time and help you retain more material. This has also been called interval studying, or it falls underneath the umbrella of interval studying, which is something that you could go look up and see the literature that's out there on that. We've all been through the activity where you read a passage and you have to read it over again and you have to read it over again. When you lack that intensity, sometimes we just don't get the material down. So focusing on keeping those studies time short and really intense is going to help a lot to make your study time more productive. The last thing I'll mention, this is maybe the most important thing, is to know your learning style. There's lots of different ways they break up learning styles, but the three basic ones are auditory, kinesthetic, and visual. So knowing which type of learner you are can do a lot to help you figure out how it is that you personally need to study. Some people may not need to take notes in class if they're, say, an auditory learner versus a kinesthetic learner. So some of these techniques that you could use will be determined by what type of learner you are. It's also going to tell you things like whether you can listen to music while you study, if you should study in groups or alone, or maybe what type of reading assignments and repetition you need for you to learn a concept. In conclusion, some of the things that you can do to be a better student or help your student be better at studying are to read the content before class, to make sure you have the proper healthy living habits, and then interval studying or short bursts of studying can help you have better study times. And then finally, what's going to help you a lot is learning your learning style and then the things that you need to do with that learning style to help you learn and retain material better. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Tenney Tube. We hope you found this content helpful to learning how you can help your student achieve better success in their study time. Please like and comment on this video. We'd love to hear from you and engage with you that way. Also, subscribe to our channel and press that notification button to receive word when we post new content. See you on the next one.